Hello everyone, Matt Foyer, the director here at the Missouri Institute of Mental Science. And since all this coronavirus stuff is going on, we had to close unfortunately. So while we're closed for the next couple of weeks, our staff is still here, of course, working, doing their stuff. But I thought maybe I'd do some cool instructional videos, kind of show you what we've got, virtual tours in the museum and so on. So with that said, think you got a bad today, think it's rough being quarantined at home or staying at home, off school. Oh, off school is a good thing, but if you're a kid, if you're a parent, not so much. Anyway, but think about being a miner about 120 years ago. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you're in southwest Missouri, more than likely you know that this is a lead mine area. Southern Missouri, in fact, has a number of lead mines. There's the old lead belt, the new lead belt, there's the Pearson district, the Joplin district or tri-state. There's a bunch of other ones. Ash Grove had one out near Republic and so on. But I want to talk to you a little bit today about what it was like to be a miner and what they were looking for. In particular here, Galena, which is lead ore, okay? Now this is lead sulfide, okay? It's safe to handle. It's not lead oxide, which is the stuff that causes birth defects, neurological problems, and so on. But anyway, Galena, cubic shape, very, very characteristic. When you see this, you're like, aha, Galena. Anyway, very, very heavy because it's lead ore, essentially. So this is what they make bullets and batteries and things like that, but lead ore. Now, to a lesser extent, if you see this dark band through here, this is sphalerite or zinc sulfide. Zinc today is used for galvanization of like stock tanks and pipes and things like that, but zinc sulfide, that's the ore. We just found this a couple of days ago out doing field work in the Pearson district. Beautiful piece. When we're open again, come out and see this stuff. But, so if you're a miner and you're working in the Pearson district, or say Joplin, and it's about 1915, 1910, somewhere around there, we're going to use that time frame as our kind of our point of interest here. You would have a couple of tools that you would use. One, your pick. In particular, this is called a Joplin pick. The Joplin pick has the hammer on one side and the pick on the other. The ones used in Pearson had a pick on both sides. Anyway, so you would pick the Galena out of the walls of the mine, okay? It would hit the floor. You would then take your shovel. It's a small shovel because this stuff is heavy. It doesn't take much to really weigh the shovel down. So you're not using the big coal scoop shovel. It's a narrower shovel. This is an original one from Joplin. Anyway, they take this, they shovel all of that lead ore into this ore bucket right here, okay? Now, when they were done, when this thing was heaped up with lead ore, this Galena, this here is a piece of an old dynamite box. You can see the old tongue and groove down here. Now, there's initials in here, sometimes there's numbers. This is called a tally paddle, okay? And when you're done, as a miner, you take your tally paddle and you throw it on top of your ore bucket, and then you send it off. A team of mules would have taken this whole assembly here and pushed it down through the mine to the shaft. You're in the stope, or you're in the drift, and you're going to take it to either a stope or a shaft. And that's where you hook it with this big hook right here that goes to a cable, okay? And this goes up and takes your ore bucket to the top. The guy on the top, now this is funny kids, don't giggle too much. The guy on the top of the head frame who grabs the bucket, there's a ring in the bottom. He takes their hook and he hooks it. His job title is called the hooker. Anyway, I laughed too. But the hooker would hook it over, pull it over, and he would take your tally paddle off the top. And he'd mark it on a chart that, old Matt Foyer did one more ore bucket full of ore. This is important because every time he made a dash mark or a hash mark on the wall, you got paid 3 cents. 3 cents per ore bucket is what you would make. About 60 of these a day would happen if you were a good miner. And at the end of the week, you'd make around $18, which seems ridiculous today. But $18 back then was a pretty good price to pay someone to mine. But again, that was a really good miner. But that was a whole process. Pick it, shovel it, and pull it out for 3 cents a bucket. Now, let's walk over here real quick, and we'll show you some of the cool things like this. This is a drill, Okay, you had guys that did nothing but drill in the rock. This is a steam drill or an air drill here, depending on what time frame you're working with here. This is a common drill they would have used at the time. And also, over here, we have a series of headlamps, okay, because in the mine it's dark. Today they have lights throughout the mine, but you also have headlamp. But they started out with things, actually they started out with things like this, the sticking Tommies, okay? These, you can see the original candle, miner's candle in there. That's extremely rare, right? There only a couple of those exist anywhere. But anyway, this one here was used in a mine and recovered a couple of years ago. But the sticking Tommy, you'd stick this into the wood or a rock, and then you put your candle on there, and that candle would burn, and you would do your work by candlelight, okay? All right, so it worked. Obviously, they used it a long time. So then they got to these cloth hats, these canvas hats, all right? And on there, we'd have either a sunshine lamp or an oil lamp. And I won't go into all the details, you got to come here for that. But you put like a petroleum wax or oil in these lamps, and there's a little wick that would come out, and you'd light that wick, and it would burn for 3 or 4 hours while you did your job. Okay, this went on to bigger oil lamps or safety lamps, mostly used in coal mines. And then ultimately, you had carbide lamps. Okay, you put carbide in the bottom and water on the top, and it would drip into this would drip water into the carbide, activate it, and create acetylene gas. Okay, these are very handy, very reliable. If just a little maintenance and care on these, and they'll last forever. I still have mine in the case that I've used for caving for years. It still works. I still trust it. But anyway, carbide lamps. Now, since then, they've gone to electric lamps and now LEDs. So times have changed. But anyway, this is just a brief history of what they would have used in the Pearson and Joplin mine districts. Now, mining here stopped around 1918 after World War I. The lead mines ended. They packed everything up on train cars and moved it all to Joplin. And the Joplin district started roughly about that time, and then went to, I believe, about the 1960s when the last mine finally closed up, maybe even early 1970s. But anyway, that's a brief history of what it's like to be a miner in Southwest Missouri. Have fun, guys. Stay safe, wash your hands, and we'll talk to you soon.